Investing in proper manure storage and handling systems is critical for a successful livestock operation. Livestock farmers know that manure is rich in organic matter, microbiological activity, and varying amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and a host of micronutrients. Depending on how the manure is stored and handled, a lot of that value can be lost before it even gets to the field. When natural enzymes in manure meet the urea in urine, it begins to off-gas the nitrogen as ammonia, and in liquid manure pits, there is no oxygen at the bottom. In this anaerobic environment, the breakdown products of the microbes include methane, which can be lost as a gas, especially in the hotter months. A manure storage tank is in some ways like an active yogurt culture. If the tank is not emptied completely, the microbes remaining in the tank will incorporate into the incoming manure and speed up this breakdown process to methane. You can, in fact, reduce the methane produced during storage by up to 55% by completely emptying the tank with each pump out. Storage management does matter. Here are 3 things we can do to reduce manure volumes and methane release. Cover the storage, acidify, or aerate. If you don't have under-barn storage, a cover on a pit can reduce odors and off-gassing anywhere from 30 to 90%. For liquid pits, even the crusty layer or a blown layer of chopped straw works to reduce methane release. A roof over solid manure helps keep manure cooler and the rainwater out, reducing dilution. Remember to divert clean roof, yard, and eaves trough water away from the storage because pumping extra water is the biggest waste of money in regards to manure handling. The microorganisms that off-gas methane and nitrogen need a certain pH to work. Farmers in Denmark commonly lower the pH. During liquid manure spreading, concentrated sulphuric acid is added to the flow of liquid manure from a tank mounted in the front of the tractor. The system measures the liquid's manure pH in real time and adds precisely the quantity of acid required to reach the target pH of roughly 6.0. The system is easy to retrofit to existing tankers and spreading equipment and can reduce nutrient losses by 50%. Since most of this off-gassing happens in an anaerobic environment, why don't we add oxygen like a fish tank? New systems are being used for aerating liquid manure pits and under-barn storage, which reduces carbon loss, keeps solids in suspension, and, surprisingly, reduces odors in the barn. Similarly, solid manure can be aerated and turned, and dairy farmers are doing this right in the barn with composted, bedded pack barns. These new ideas may someday reshape the entire process of barn and storage design. Manure and storage technology is always evolving, and there is no doubt that barns, storages, and equipment in the future will look different than today's systems. Researchers have shown that with minor changes, we can better manage today's systems, and new technology can help us further reduce nutrient losses, making our manure even more valuable and our practices even more environmentally sound.